Yeesh. Things sound so good. Grainer sounds kind of off the chain. It is definitely my favorite thing Elektron's introduced in a while. There's just unlimited possibilities here. I think the thing it resembles the most for me is just playing with my modular, playing with clouds or beads, and like my very first experiences with Eurorack was plates into clouds. I mean, so many people's first experiences with Eurorack was that exact experience. I was playing stuff like that. I mean, there's probably some other things I played with. I think I had a DPO that was way over my head when I started getting into Eurorack. But if you don't know what Eurorack modules I'm talking about, if you're not familiar with those, it's this macro synth module, which means it has multiple oscillator types, and it just sounds really pretty. It's very easy to make sounds with it. It's a great module, highly recommend. Even the clones, pick them up. You'd run it into a granular processor like Beads or Clouds. It was called Clouds at the time, and that's Beads is the successor to Clouds. And it would granulize whatever you put into it, basically just making this beautiful ambient mess, and it would just sound amazing. It didn't matter what you did. You just send a pretty melody into it, and what you got out of it was just superb. You know, granular with reverb is amazing. What you just heard in this tiny little intro was granular with reverb, and it's actually from my Eurorack. And I sampled it into my Tonverk. It was a I think I was trying to build a multi-sample at the time, and now I'm using it with the Grainer engine. And I honestly could just play with this forever. I mean, it sounds... Just pressing these keys, I mean, I could just record myself doing this. I mean, this is clearly playing a chord, so when I play something that's not an octave or a fifth, it sounds a little weird. You play like a sixth or a seventh of this, and it's just like, those don't go well together. But this sounds off the chain. Ugh. Anyway, definitely a fan. I would love to know if people want to share with me their experiences with the new Tonverk OS update. Did it change your feelings about the machine? I know it's been very polarizing. The release of this device, probably just people coming from Digitakt 2, Digitone 2, coming over the Tonverk, we're feeling a little bit like, where's some of the features I'm used to in those boxes over here? But then also being greeted with some brand new ideas and new concepts in this box. I myself am still finding my way, but it is probably the most inspiring thing I currently have in my studio. I was feeling really stoked on TR-1000 and having a really great time with that, and that is awesome. That's a lot of fun, but I have not owned, besides Beads or Clouds in Eurorack, something that really does granular really well, and I'm finding this engine to be very substantial, very fun, and taking me sonically to places I wasn't going before in an Elektron box, in a workflow, in a sequencer that I'm extremely familiar with. That's always been my problem. Rant time. Let's rant for a second. One of my problems with really cool Eurorack modules is that I have to adopt workflows that are completely foreign to me. And I have to use sequencers that I rely on a lot less than the Elektron sequencer or a tracker, for instance. So I'm always like trying to relearn everything every time I jump over to modular, and that's a problem. And that's like probably the main problem with most people and their Eurorack systems, I think, is that they're constantly having to relearn their system. And it's just hard. You buy a new module, you gotta learn it. You change your system, you gotta relearn your whole system. Get a different sequencer in there, you gotta relearn it. Don't learn it all the way, you gotta relearn it. And that just keeps happening over and over again. This, for me, having this capability in an Elektron box has kind of moved me in a way that has inspired me to play with sounds in ways that I just couldn't before, or without me having to do a lot of prep beforehand. Now I need no prep. And there's new ideas I haven't even explored. So today, what I have on the table too, besides us, my plan is to take some presets. I'm just going to use presets in here, and we're going to sample some vocal stuff. I'm just going to sing some random lines or whatever. I don't know, or talk. It doesn't really matter. I just want to hear how voices sound getting grained because I haven't done that yet. And so we're going to hear that together. I have this pedal by Headrush called the Auto Tune. I don't know what it's called, honestly. It's the Headrush. I don't know. Anyway, it has more than Auto Tune in it. I got it because it was the effects suite from my guitar headrush core. It has way less effects than I anticipated, so I'm a little disappointed. But it does have a harmonizer and a pitch correction and reverb and delay that sound really nice. So it's extremely substantial. It's got preamp, all that kind of stuff. It sounds good. It does the job. We're going to use that to bring vocals in, basically, just so that I don't sound bad on stream, because it's I don't know. It's hard to sing on stream. It's weird to sing on stream. So it just corrects that so that we all can enjoy a perfect pitch. And then we're going to do some resampling. I want to get some plucks from the Tonverk. Like, we'll just build a pretty little sequence. Maybe we'll just sequence out a chord, a minor chord or something, and or arpeggio. Actually an arpeggio. That's a really good idea. The arpeggiator in here is awesome. So maybe we'll just get the arpeggiator. We'll find a plucky preset patch and resample that patch, and then throw it into Grainer. And I think that that's a really great approach, because that, to me, is very similar to the approach that I was going to do, or have done many times, and do still until now, with my Eurorack system, with what I'm talking about, taking something like Platts, and some people call it plates, Platts, and running it into a granular processor. Let's do that process here without a Eurorack system. $1,600 versus $5,000-$6,000 Eurorack system. I'm going to do it 10,000 times faster on my Tonverk. You know, no shame to Eurorack. I love it. I still buy modules, but this is quick. So I'm going to go through that process, but before, let's just hear. This is what I was doing on the intro to this, and it sounds so good. This is a patch from my 9U case. I'm just playing this patch polyphonically, and with granular and sync mode, directions going back and forth, with a nice triangle-shaped envelope on it, so we get these smooth attack, smooth release, very smooth. I hear no clicks and pops. So nice. It's so stereo. I'm so very pleased with these sounds. I think when I did the OS release stream, the patch or the sound that I played with granular on that stream was not a good one to play. This is so much better. I think I was confused by how good it can sound, because this is off the chain. So good. Oh, and you bring the size down and set this. Yeah, something like this, and then we change the envelope. Be cool to throw it on like a... Throw it like a comb filter behind it. Throw some delay on that. Check this out. What? Bringing the scan down to like 0 and just playing with the start position is really cool. It's just a playground of just beautiful sounds. I mean, as far as like ambient stuff goes, there's no better spot, I think, than the one we're in right now. Okay, so let's actually do the project idea that I'm talking about. I'll go to a blank pattern. We got no sounds loaded. We'll use a multiplayer because why not? And I just want to find a pluck. I wish there was, a little bit more filtering for going through the multiplayer, but at least we can name stuff now, so that's pretty cool. Nice. Okay, I think something like that works really well. Now let's just throw, just have a trigger go for the length. We can even just use a bar and leave it set at infinity, because I'm not going to pair this with any other Elektron box, which means we can do polymetric stuff here and not worry about sync issues, which I really like, and it is really nice. You're watching with your daughter. What's up, Chordmaster? That's a beautiful thing to hear. Yeah, and actually something I needed to check. Oh, yeah, exactly. I want to go function yes and hear this. And you can't yet. But I can do that, so that's cool. Which totally clipped, so it's clearly really loud. Still clipping. That's better. Oops. That's nice. Let's take this root and go down an octave. Nice. Beautiful little chord. I have it set to play for 16 steps. Let's just turn the arpeggiator on. See what happens. Shall we? Okay. Now let's process this arpeggio. This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly the right idea for sure. And we can mess with this and make it sound more evil or something. That's kind of cool. Because we're going to resample this, so we can do whatever we want with the effects. I love the phaser on here. Not doing as much of this patch as it does to the other patches with more resonance. Let's try this. No. We don't want to do that for this patch. Nice. Actually, the pluck itself is just fine. And I want to have the transients and stuff in it. You can see what happens if we throw a compressor on here. Get the makeup out of here for now. Let's really compress it. Make this really plucky with the compressor. Nice. That's pretty cool. What I find strange is that there's no dry wet mix on some of the effects. It's just, you just put it on and just it's on. Strange. We're almost there. We're just about there. GG. Dirt Shaper. See what happens here. Woo! Gosh, that's pretty with the compressor. Oh! Rectification, killing it. Nice distortion. Oh, that is so nice. Okay. All right, we're gonna resample this. I'm gonna throw it through a bus so I can target a bus. That way we can get all those effects and stuff without doing. I mean, I could just target the mains, I guess. Let's just do the bus. Let's just try it out. See how it's going. We're gonna send it to bus 1. Go to our sampler. We're just gonna use the regular sampler, not a multi-sampler. And I want to get I guess we just want to get... What? What is that? Target bus 1. Hey. Where's my threshold is down here. Duh. I get mentally confused, I guess. Alright, I want to see something. We don't have the different kinds, like the trig for recording. Like the way you do on a dig attack, which is unfortunate, because I really like that idea. Is this 1-to-1 using the pattern length? I actually haven't messed with that yet. I don't even know. Anyway, let's just arm it and press play and see what it does. Yeah, it is using the pattern length. Okay, that's cool. Whoa, why don't we have... Okay, we have to do the mains. Duh. Of course we do. Of course we do. Why would I even think otherwise? Okay, now we have the effects on it. We got 1 bar. Let's save it. We'll call it Plucky ARP. Plarp is probably a good name for it. Plarp. 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 I need a name for, like, I guess resample. I was like, I need a name for resample. Why don't I just say resample? Or resamp would be the trick, I guess. Oh, I can do the whole thing. Okay, that's nice. I will assign it to track 8. Because that's what the pros do. That's what I heard. Alright, switch this out to a grainer. I'm supposed to be on track 8. I don't see it. Whatever. Where are you at, Plarp? Alright. This is the magic, right? We got a grainer. We made a sample out of a preset, and now this is the gold right here. Let's see what happens. I want to be on track 8. Oh, that's why. Because I'm a genius. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. Go to track 8. And let's do what I did before. Get out the mute mode. Give me a trig of 16 steps so that we can just play with this. And, yeah. Oh, I gotta reassign it. Come on now. Here's the gold mine. Maybe up one more. Yeah. I really like oscillator sync, the sync mode. Oscillator's cool too. Let's hear it. Whoa. That's really cool. That really long one with oscillator is like, turn up the grains. What? This is what I'm talking about. This is so cool. Wow. love the forward and backwards thing. It's just like... Turn the scan down. Alright, let's edit this reverb. Hey, whoops. That's not what I meant to do. I love that they figured it out that the feedback was too low on the digis by the default settings. Panoramic chorus. Let's switch this up. Let's use oh, we only get the one chorus. Okay, whatever. That's really cool. So if we have it running through this bus, and now we can gate, which is really cool. We could have this go 2x or something. Or no, 1 to 1. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I was going to have it go 2 times the speed, but I've changed my mind. Let's see. Be on bus, trigger. Oh, this needs to go through that bus as well. Cool. Chrono pitches continues to be a really cool effect. Frequency warper is pretty crazy too. Got a nice medley here. I'm doing some gating with this. I don't know if it's having the biggest effect, but we don't need to do that right now. I kind of just want the crazy sound that we're getting from track 8. So I'm gonna hear some other. That's cool. I haven't even tried these ideas yet. That's really nice. We get something new every time. Just because of the way the granular engine is functioning. Okay, let's clear this out. Turn this into a kick drum. Because, of course, we want to do that. Synthetic drums? Sure. Nope. This is what I was gonna do before I got on this stream. That seems nice. So to me, I wouldn't, you know, hot take, personal opinion here. So like, say you wanted to just make music on the Tonverk, how would you approach that? I think a lot of people's natural thinking would be that they want to use the subtracks to do their drums, and they'd be like, I'm going to use the subtrack and make all my drums on the subtrack. I think that's a bad idea. I think the subtracks should be used for drums. I think that's probably where they excel, for sure, and that's the default sounds that they come with, right, as a bunch of drums. But I think a better idea would be to use them as like auxiliary sounds, like supplemental drums, and still keep your kick and snare and hat and open hat and all that on their own individual tracks, and then use the other tracks on the Tonverk, the other 4 tracks, to do whatever. Make 1 a subtrack and 3 like melodic tracks. This is how I would approach things on the M8. This is how I would approach things on Digitakt 1, and how I approach things on anything that only has 1 track, like an octatrack, for instance. Or, sorry, 8 tracks, not 1 track. I think that's like, I think that makes the most sense to me as a producer, and that's my workflow on so many other boxes that most tracks have, or most boxes have 8 tracks, groove boxes that is. If not 4 or 8, and you have to make do with that, resampling or whatever, but 8 I think is plenty. That's just my opinion. Let's see, what kind of tempo do we want to go down to? Maybe like something on the chill side? That was cool sounding. I didn't even mean to do that. What's going on with that? That's really dope. That was an accident. And that's because it's running into bus 1, and on bus 1 we have those crazy effects. Maybe we run it to bus 2. Oh, it's the arpeggiator. That's what's doing it. I mean, that is not at all what the drums should sound like to me. That's not what I thought it sounded like either. If you go function yes while highlighted on it, it will skip you back over here. Oh. Simple. Oops. That's cool. Not my thing. That seems easy enough. It's because of the engine, right? No, like, what's going on here? What's on bus 2? Anything? G5. That's why. Is it supposed to be on 6 or something? What's the deal with that? None of my modulators. Your trigger is not on. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy too. That sounds crazy. Let's see. Get out of here. That's how it's supposed to sound. But then when the one-shot engine does something else entirely. Doesn't really matter. I can use the subtrack for my kick track. Whatever. Let's see, let's do like some classic stuff here. This kick drum kind of not my thing though. Ooh, there we go. Curious when I was doing this. First, when I load it. It's completely repitched. Do I have something on my master? No. Couldn't tell you. Oh. My goodness. There we go. Why didn't I check there first? Completely been losing my mind over this. Yeah, I think maybe using subtracks for your single sounds is actually kind of a cool idea. Because why not? There's no disadvantage, and I can throw in some other sounds really easily. That sounds a little more abrasive than I want it to be. Oh. I should be able to use the... Oh, I gotta use the track specifically. Because all the subtracks have their own filters, which is kind of nice. Not that I think we want to do 4 on the floor, because probably not. So let's play with some other idea. But I do kind of like this idea of using multiple subtracks. It's an interesting experiment to play just your classic sounds. Also, something you can do that's pretty cool is the scales. You know, we can do like 3/4 timing on top of something that's not in 3/4 time. Not try and duck it a little bit. I like the subby kick, that's kind of nice. Maybe we would pair it with another kick later. So it should be track 1. Is that gonna get... It's the send effects that are not being targeted. So let's turn off all the send effects really quick. Nice. Actually, I want to copy this track and move it here. Pasted subtrack. I guess this is a good time to find out if that's buggy or not. Let's copy this track, sequence track. Copy sequence. Let's go here. Some interesting delay happening there. Why are they not identical? I don't know. Maybe because of the track scaling on this? Different? It is. All right. Maybe if we make this 3/4 scale as well. Ooh, that is cool. We are doing that here. Okay. You know what I'd like to hear it is on with warble on it. Let's just go. Hold on, you. Yeah, what if we just remove these really quick? Because that sounds really cool. Yeah, I kind of want to hear how this sounds with... We'll just use the ducking. Maybe put a little LFO to that. That could be cool. That is the filter stereo spread. Cool. Let's start at the top. It's gonna be pretty cool to add on to this. Something really subtle like that. Make that longer, because that is cool. We can jump around to pages, thank the Lord. Maybe move this over here. Oh, that is so tasty. Last one's a little weird. Cool. What do we do here? Sounding really good. Oh my god, it sounds so good. Sounds so goddamn good. It really is just delicious. Are we ready for this part of the track? Let's get this ready first. Targeting input USB, the length 1:1 to the track. That's a cool idea that they implemented with the recorder length. I didn't actually pay attention to that until now, that it's divisions of your sample length, right? Let's see. No, it's not. I'm wrong about that. really short. The hell? 16 to 1? Why don't I know this information? Oh, there we go. That's a long one right there. Ah. Oh, so good. You do me so good. I can't like shout into the microphone, you know, because it will just clip super hard. And you gotta push your voice a bit to not falsetto. At least I do. What does this sound like? Walk alone in the dark, looking for you, looking for you. That sounds cool. Walk alone in the dark, looking for you. I'm looking for you. That is a nice little line, though. Walk alone in the dark. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Oh, fucker. Pardon my language. How did I do that? I walk alone in the dark. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Completely screwed that one up too. I walk alone in the dark. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Oh, I hit function no. God damn. Am I the worst at this? I walk alone in the dark. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. How do I keep... Okay. That's enough watching me do a million takes live on YouTube. Jesus Christ. Forgive me for all the horrible things I said during that process. I don't know if anybody's ever You know, I used to sing and play in a band a lot, and I was a much better singer then before. I had surgery on my neck, and it kind of screwed things up a bit. I don't have the strength I used to, but you go in the vocal booth, and it's just like take after take after take after take after. It's just, that's what it's like. Even with the help of this auto schmooze. Okay. Folks, dark. I don't know why, what that line's about, but the music sounds like ominous emo shit, so I figure why not. Dark. Bonk. We don't need to assign it to a track. We'll just grab it and put it on something. Right? Okay, yeah, we'll put it here. No, we're going to put it in greener. That's right. Okay, here we go. Now we get to see what it's like to sing into here and add vocals grainer stuff. Where is it? Why is it not in recordings? Where are all these files? Did it put it in here? Where did my sample go? I didn't delete it, so we're happy about that. Let's see what happens. Where did it go, though? Should be in user. Should be in recordings. We can look in here and see what's going on. I don't see it there. Crippling semester? That's definitely not it. Let's just try and let's just save it again, see what happens. We'll assign it to a track. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe we found a bug. Maybe not. Maybe I'm the bug. Let's assign it to track 6, I guess. So that would definitely tell us where it is, right? So where is it? It's not here. Where is it? This is where it's supposed to go. It's assigned, but it's not in there? Or it can't be seen? Okay, that's weird. Oh my gosh. Holy shift. That's cool. That is cool. That is very cool. That is so cool. I guess on the 1 is really good. We gotta make it a little longer. My god, this is super cool. It's going a lot fast. Oh, you can parameter lock page 2? Get the... What? Holy smokes! Oh my god, that's so cool. That bam, it's kind of pissing me off. The last page, page 8. Maybe it needs to go down a couple notes. Oops. Oh, no, don't do that. Get out of here. Maybe I just leave that note out. It's making this harder on myself. Jesus. I like these little hats. Sounds ridiculous. Alright, let's add another subtrack. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just go. Oh no, quantization is here. Kind of hate that, not gonna lie. Kind of like that. How is it so loud with the track level like down to almost 0? It's crazy. I don't get that at all, but one track left. Let's see what the single player is up to. Sounds like it could be cool, but honestly, I just want a sine wave. That's kind of cool right there. Actually, I think if we just steal the kick drum pattern here, copy, go back to 7 and paste it. Oh, incompatible. Okay, whatever. 1914. 1914. Recorder scale. Let's make it at least 4 bars. Yeah! Womp womp womp. Want to hear some shit. You see that was blank for a second? I'm like the bug bandit. I go in here, I look for bugs. I find them. Should do mad. Should go wah. Yeah, you can slice with subtracks, but that's like a hack. But yeah. You're not wrong about that. It's kind of. Ugh, I didn't like that at all. It's so loud. There we go. G sharp, that's where it's at. We should save this before I accidentally delete it like I always do. That's what I like to do, is completely destroy my projects in the middle of the project. I do it all the time. The 3/4 scale, so like the new, the scaling feature on here, this is the thing, is like if you have, we can turn off that buzzing, crickly, paper crunchy sound from Warble. Doesn't go away until you stop it. One of the things, God, what was I gonna say? You can see I got a shot in my arm. Didn't go very well, apparently. One of the issues here is that we really want slicing on Tonverk, don't we? Will we ever get slicing on Tonverk? I honestly don't see that happening anytime soon, or at all. The real question is are we gonna get pattern mutes on Tonverk? I don't know. I'm feeling like it's not going to happen. And I really, really want that on this box. But as you can see, like, this is what I was talking about. Like, it took us a little while to get here because I'm still getting my, my bearings about this machine. But as you can see, like, using just the Tonverk by itself, like, this is a cool track. I don't make stuff like this on my Dig Attack. this is made on Tonverk because this is the kind of sounds that Tonverk inspires. This is a conversation I was having with somebody. I was doing, because I do private lessons a lot, and kind of like my main squeeze, right, is teaching this stuff online. And I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody who's a newer student of mine. I always feel guilty calling people students like I'm above you or something, but it was somebody I was teaching how to use Elektron stuff. And we were talking about, or it was MA Tracker, I think. And we were talking about how certain devices like squeeze you down a certain path. So it's like, if you play on the rhythm, you're more likely to make like techno and stuff like that, or noisier stuff on rhythm and like harder drum and bass and stuff. That device really inspires that sound, I think. When you're playing on the Digitact, I think making house and like these really cleaner genres, really, really easy to get inspired on the Digitact for that, because of the way the Digitact works. When you're playing on Tonverk, because it has stuff like granular and it has all these cool effects, it's really easy for you to get inspired to make music that maybe sounds a little bit more atmospheric and melodic, because it has all that stuff. It has the chord stuff for the keyboard, it has an arpeggiator, it has all this polyphony, it has multi-samples, it has granular, and it has all those effects. And all of that combined equals atmospheric, pretty sounds, right? And then you go on your Eurorack system, and whatever modules you put in your case is kind of what's going to define what kind of music you make afterwards. So I like that when I go to a different machine, I get a different inspiration, so to speak, and it kind of defines what's gonna come out of the box. There's a lot of stuff I want to push to Tonverk. I haven't played with it enough, I would say, compared to like how much I've played with my other Elektron boxes. I just jump on them and just make a track on those machines. Over here, I'm exploring still. And I kind of like that, the fact that this box is so different from the other machines that they've released in the last couple of years, because I am digging through this box looking for the crevices and cracks of these cool ideas, or like a new concept, like discovering just now that you could parameter lock page 2 on granular. I've always just kind of assumed that page 2 was off limits for most parameter locking. That's how it is on the Octatrack. That's how it is on everything. When you double press a page, like you can't parameter lock those secondary features. But there's just multiple pages. I mean, on the Digatone, you can parameter lock everything. And it has multiple pages, so I don't know why I thought that'd be any different. But for whatever reason, I thought the second page of granular was off limits, and it's not. And I have no idea what I can even do with that, because I haven't explored the engine enough. But I know that it sounds freaking awesome. Absolutely. It's nice to have those nice little vocals in the background. Like, that really kind of completes it. We added that really subby bass that hits on the kick. I feel like somebody could like rap over this, and it would be a really nice thing to do. Or just do some sort of top line on top of this. I do want more tracks. I wish we had more tracks, to be honest. This is where an argument could be made for... I used a bunch of subtracks and where I'm only using like one voice on the subtrack. You don't need to do that. These drums could be summed down to just the one subtrack, and I could open up some more tracks. So I think I've made a little bit of a mistake using too many subtracks with single sounds, or just using too many tracks with single sounds. I wonder, can subtracks be presets? Can you preset a subtrack? Probably not. On the other machines, you can, the engines are a part of the preset. But over here, I'm not even sure how that works. But I like the track that we made today. I think this sounds awesome. And I could just resample it and sum it all down to one track and then keep going. Is there anywhere I could put like a... If I just mute this track and go into the sequencer, can I still play it? when I go to the G sharp on page 8, right there, that sounds super good. So I think I should borrow that and use it maybe on this turnaround as well, but maybe find another. That F sharp would work. Yeah. Yeah, that does work. Let's save that. Fire. Copy pattern. Paste pattern. Let's go to the, what's this? Okay, the changes on a bar. We can do the different kinds of transitions. That's pretty cool. Make this like that, like there was like a chord that just happened to sound really cool. Let's see. Why are you so loud? Oops. Okay. Oops. God, these. Whoa. God damn, they're so loud. Pattern copy discarded. Oh, this could be cool. This could be cool. Okay. Let's see what we got. Oops. Copy, trigger, copy, trig, yeah. Is it 11 or 12? I think it's 12. Maybe we leave that note and go down the root. So we go. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Maybe I don't need that one there. Now I feel like I got. Should send it into bus 1 so it gets ducked. That is cool. Not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. Or maybe we just copy this trigger and we paste this one and. Take me there. Jesus. delete this one. This needs to go much longer. Of course. Oh, how was in vibrato, huh? Maybe 64 for that one. What if we just had it be 4 bars so I can just hear this over and over again for a minute? Oh, this needs to be 3/4 scale. Well, that's crazy sounding. Cool. Page could loop. Oops. It just like burst right into it. I don't know why that did that. What happens if we turn the arpeggiator on? Would you mind recreating everything in its right place while you're cooking there? That's like my go-to patch. It's impossible to do on this thing. Do. Good question though. Great question, Gaggle World. I feel like, what do you know me or something? Because I always do that when I'm at any synth shop. I always go and play that immediately. All right, let me catch up with this chat for a sec. I feel like we've been jamming for a long time, and frankly, I'm very happy with my jam. I got 2 patterns I like. I really love this first pattern, probably the most, but I like the idea of where we're going with the second pattern. Maybe I could just change the bass line to a couple different notes so it feels like really a second part besides the drums energy doubling, you know, double time. This is all Tonverk. We sampled a little bit of vocal stuff. We used the presets. We resampled an arpeggio. We made a track. Sounds huge. This is the cleanest sounding instrument they've ever made. I mean, it's the Dig Attack sounds pretty similar, but this is on another level when it comes to like the reverbs and delays and like the stereo width. It's just monstrous. Like, I think it's pretty cool. Very inspiring. I really want to get faster at it because I do feel like it's an instrument that requires you to move pretty quickly if you want to enjoy anything. EZBOT, do you think the Tonverk would be a good for 30-minute to a 1-hour sets with the Octatrack? My hypothetical plan would be to sample stuff like Arturia, V Collection, and use it as a poly deep house. Absolutely. I mean, as long as it's not bugging out, as long as there isn't bugs happening, and like as you're jamming with it, and I think you might run into that. I don't think they're done squishing bugs in this thing. Like we saw a couple already during the stream. When I save my sample, I can't see my sample. So like there is some stuff for sure that needs some polishing that could possibly make you feel a little uncomfortable during that set. But I do think in terms of how good it sounds and what you can program, yes. The answer is yes. Would I play a set with the Tonverk now? Probably, yeah. I would. I mean, the kind of shows I'm playing, like, you know, live hardware shows, the expectations aren't like that you're going to be playing, you know, something you wrote on Ableton. Like, people expect, like, that things can go off the rails at a live hardware gig because most of the people attending are also live hardware people. So they get it. They get that sometimes stuff gets weird or you hit the wrong button. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good unit for a set. You played a 4-song set last month on the Tonverk. There you go. Somebody's already done it. I haven't done it yet. I haven't played a set in a couple of months. My hearing got injured and I haven't played since. But I will. I'm feeling ready to play again. I'm just cruising through the chat right now looking for comments that are questions. Should make that flanger knob go up. I wish the multi-track out was built into the machine. That's a good question. Is that coming to Tonverk? I don't know. I haven't actually asked Elektron about that quite yet. Granular is awesome, but I'm waiting for more quality of life bug fixes before I buy one. I think it's ready to be, I mean, honestly, I think it's ready to be purchased, in my opinion. And you should definitely use my affiliate links to do that. No, but I mean, in all honesty, like, I understand that. And I totally get why you would feel that way. I mean, you saw me run into a couple of bugs. I do think, like, I love what I wrote on this thing, and I don't have any other device in my studio currently that makes music like this so naturally, like makes that like huge ambiance. So to me, like, it's already doing the job for me, and this new update changed the game entirely. Without the trig plus preview function, I would 100% agree with you. If anybody told me they're like, I'm waiting for the Tonverk to get quality of life improvements without trig preview, I'm with you. Like, yes, it's so frustrating to work, especially on, it goes up to 8 or 16 bars of music. That's crazy to not be able to preview something that's 16 bars away. You gotta wait that long. If you're at 90 BPM, you know, that's a long time to wait to get to the bar 16. So absolutely. But I think with trig preview now and the granular engine, I feel like it's a device worth pulling the trigger on. I don't even know if you're still in the chat. This is from a while ago, maybe an hour ago. Only one stereo pair, that's the problem, El Danny. It would be nice if there was a second audio in, but it would be too competitive with the Octatrack, I think, in that way. But I do think if they make an Octatrack, it's going to be in this form factor. Hopefully it'll have, it only needs to have one out and two in. So if they did that, they could make an Octatrack out of this thing. If they would just split the USB and the input. I don't know what you mean by that. My thought remains, though, will they ever release a battery-operated piece of hardware? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe they'll try and make those battery tubes again that they had for the model cycles, and that was like a kickstand, but also a battery, but they caught on fire or something. I forget what happened. Total bummer. I'm sure that was a big chunk of money that was lost. But it made the model cycles and the model samples battery powered, and whoever bought them at the time probably still has them. They're pretty cool. They weren't rechargeable batteries, unfortunately, but they had the handle and handled it bad, and it burnt their fingers. Okay. I'm the only sicko out here exclusively making music not in the studio. What does that mean? You're going outside every time you make music? The Tonverk will record a 8-bar loop if you set an 8-bar pattern. TR1000 plus Tonverk, all you need. Realist Wizard, what's up, Realist Wizard? I've said a few times, so when you come in here, you say comments that I completely agree with. And I completely agree with that comment. I absolutely believe. I was actually thinking about doing that for the stream today. I was going to have a TR1000 and the Tonverk and do this. I have this idea where I think that those two devices together, maybe I have my little auto-tune vocal thing for making vocal chops on there, but I think that those two devices together are absolutely, and an Octatrack. Honestly, you still need the Octatrack. I still want performance effects. Like, I still love having these different custom filters and stuff that I make, at least the custom filters, if not the beat repeats and like the LFO twists and stuff like that. And some of these 4-bar transitions, I don't have this clocked to my Octatrack right now, but I still think like an Octatrack is where it's at for live performance. So TR1000 Octatrack, Tonverk, I feel like that is a really nice, I think the three items, like pick 3 items, put them on the table and work in those 3 items, and like one of them is drums to me, and one of them is melody to me, and then one of them is always like the summing performance box to help me move from part to part or song to song. And that's where the Octatrack comes in play. I love that idea. The 3 pieces, that's what I do with the Digitakt, Digatone, and the Octatrack. I think Tonverk Octatrack TR1000 is a fantastic combo that would be really good for like improv techno or like experimental house or kind of like or in this like this is 90 BPM, but it's got like this. When I doubled the snares, it's suddenly 180 BPM feeling more so at least. Oh, I'm 136 BPM? I'm a liar. I thought I was at 90. Anyway, don't quote me on that one, please. But I do like that combo. I'm with you. Overbridge coming in 2027. I hope so. I mean, I hope it's coming in 2026. I hope it's coming. I don't even know if it is, but I'm assuming it is. I think they have to, write Overbridge for their new software in this device. So like, I don't know how long that's going to take. They got to like literally probably rewrite an Overbridge plugin for this architecture. I actually have no idea. I don't know how coding works. I'm not that person, but I would guess that's something you have to do. Somebody in here is a coder. There's probably, most of you are probably coders. Everybody's a coder nowadays. Hopefully gluten-free. Yeah. Oscillator is nicer from what you expected. I don't think Oscillator is nicer. I like Sync a lot. I think I like all three of them. They all make cool sounds, that's for sure. I do like that you can parameter lock the granular modes. You have to download the Overbridge software. What are we still talking about? There's a lot of Overbridge chat in here, but the reverb on this thing is magic. Yeah. Have you listened to the Rumsklang? I'm probably saying that wrong. Reverb? That sounds pretty cool. Honestly, this sounds like the other reverb to me. I have a hard time telling the difference. Multi-track out from USB should be on all modern day devices, in my opinion. Be jammin' since birth. Nice name. Pretty good. Yeah. I can't argue with that one. 2025, I think all things should have that. You know what needs to have something like that? This. And I still feel this way, that this device, the OPXY and the Tonverk, are very, very similar. They both have subtracks. Like the Tonverk, this has subtracks. That's how it does drums. But it does chopping. The Tonverk doesn't. Hey, look, my pop-up happened. Listen to it. Find my work on Patreon. And this does multi-samples. And has these effects and it has multiple outs. And I just think that they're very comparable devices. Probably the closest in... they're probably the most similar instruments out right now to each other is the OPXY and the Tonverk. I just prefer the Tonverk because I understand the sequencer better than the OPXY one. Wow, this is some inspiring sound design. Thanks, Hexwave. Chrono Pitch and Degrader have been your favorites so far. I really like Warble. I'm not gonna lie, I think Warble sounds really good. And I know it's on the Analog Heat Plus FX, but I really like Warble as just like a master effect, and especially on chords and stuff, it's like really good. This is definitely a dub techno, a beautiful dub techno device. And now that we have like sidechain that actually functions on the buses, you can do anything. Alicia, what did you do to your arm? I'm a really hard stick, and I had a contrast MRI, whatever. You know, TMI for sure, but the nurse had a really hard time getting an IV in me for the contrast, and completely wrecked my arms. Both my arms, actually. I'm thinking to buy, but I'm unsure how suitable it is for breakbeats. Well, I mean, this is a breakbeat. I mean, it's not the tempo that you'd want, right? But it sounds great. Do you mean chopping a breakbeat? It's not suitable for chopping breakbeats. I wouldn't do that. I would get a Digitech 2 or an Octatrack for chopping breaks. 100%. Just get a Digitech 2. That's what I would do. I always tell everybody, get a Digitech 2. If you really want to have a great time chopping breaks, Digitech 2 does an awesome job at that. You want to have a really fun time mangling live audio and chopping breaks, that's where you get the Octatrack. 100%. With the development of the machine, EZBOT's fame will still rise and overthrow the one that should not be named from old days and become the almighty Elektron Master Wizard? Oh, I don't know about that. I know who you're talking about, and I think you're talking about Dataline, and I love Dataline. He's my favorite. One of my favorite hardware music producers. I'm not sure that's what he wants to do. Honestly, I just want to keep doing this. I just love streaming and jamming. This is what I would love to do. 5% ownership. You guys are too kind. You're saying usurp the king. Getting a little political. To control external MIDI devices, you assign a MIDI machine to an audio bus track. This is something I really wanted to talk about today and show you, but I didn't set it up. I just want to tell you about it really quick. Let's talk about it really fast on the Tonverk. So this is really cool. So this is, to me, like this superpower, like the Octatrack, it's one of its superpowers, is connecting, like being a conduit between your keyboard. I was going to pull it. Between your keyboard and like a monosynth. Like I had it hooked up to the IntelliGel Cascadia. And I had this beautiful, you know, just like long attack, long release, just like a beautiful swell, analog swell. It just sounds really great, right? A little bit of modulation on it. Just a great sound from the Cascadia. I mean, any analog oscillator with a decent filter make the same sound, but it's, you know, Cascadia is what I use. But what's cool about it is when you use a MIDI machine, you can bring the audio back in on the track. So let's just go to a blank pattern and talk about this really quick. So if you assign a MIDI machine, you can go in and go to your master track and assign your incoming audio back in through your track. So if I had it on track, you know, whatever track I put that MIDI machine on, is it 1? Doesn't matter. Let's just go do it again. So if I set a MIDI machine up on track 1 and I have the MIDI sequencing going out to a device and returning, using all these gestures so you really understand, returning in through AB but processing through track 1 instead of through AB, it'll go through track 1. I get access to the CC values, all these great CC messages, 16 CCs. Then I can route that through a bus, which will give me a attack and release and all that for an envelope, for a volume envelope. But regardless, I could probably still control the envelope with the CC messages. But you program all the CCs. Can you name them? I forget if they added that function. No, you can't name them yet. That's too bad. I'm sure they'll add that though. When you're able to name these, it'll be even better. But you can save MIDI presets on here. I know that because I have one saved. But you can program your synthesizer, bring it back in through your track, then parameter lock the CCs and your effects of the incoming audio on the sequencer with your MIDI note in the same spot. And this is just so powerful. So I used to do this all the time on the Dig Attack to just try and make like bass patches. Like I would, because you're so low on tracks, so I would like parameter lock reverb and delay on like a bass pluck that was up an octave. So it just gave this like ring, would just ring out with a note. So I could kind of use it as a sustained note that would play over the bass line. It would add and kind of create a chord or a duophonic type chord sound. And you can do that with your external devices, your monophonic devices, besides turning them into multi-samples, but just being able to parameter lock the effects on the trigger itself as opposed to having them all separated is really powerful. I was having a really good time with this, and I think this is one of its absolute superpowers that is not talked about enough. And we'll maybe on the next stream we'll just do that because that's a cool idea, or bring out the TR-1000. But anyway, I think it's a great idea. Still got function saved, function no. We do not user data. We have a recall and memorize function, but it doesn't function in the same way. So no. I'm now almost caught up. What's your thinking about the Tonverk? Is it still needed when you have a Dig Attack 2? I don't think they're the same at all. I think that the Tonverk, while it's using samples, is not a Dig Attack 2. Like, you don't make the same kind of music at all. The Dig Attack 2 has, well, it has completely different functionalities besides sampling. It just has the main source, the same engine for sound gathering, but the way it processes sounds on the Tonverk is way different. Plus, we don't have pattern mute, so like they're just different devices altogether. The Tonverk and the Digitech are sampling machines, but totally different approach. Okay, so you're already kind of answering the questions. There's no eventual slicing deployed on Tonverk Octa Mark III confirmed. I honestly don't know. I wish that I knew these questions. I want key track and velocity as mod source the most. I think that that might be a little while for them because of the multi-sampling. It might just cook their brains a little too hard, or the Tonverk's brain. Tonverk sounds amazing, confirmed. Absolutely. Hey, EZBOT. All what I miss in my Elektron device is a professional EQ like Ableton EQ8 that I finally need to adopt. What do you think? In my opinion, the second filter is not exact enough. Well, they added this. They have an EQ in here as an effect called Filter Bank. It's essentially an EQ. I mean, you can't dial in these exact moments, but you're not wrong. You're gonna have to get something else for an EQ. You can get that Boss pedal, use that as an EQ. I feel like people forget the Digitech is a drum sampler. Well, it used to be called Drum Computer. I kind of liked it when they called it that. This track sounds awesome. I have to teach a lesson a little bit today. All right, I want to do a little experiment. So we made a song, 2 patterns. I think it sounds cool. I mean, there's obviously more work to be done here, but something I haven't gotten to play with quite yet was like taking some like drum stuff, single samples to texture long. Whoa, this stuff already sounds like it's granular. Is there any drum loops on here? No. Soundscapes. I think what we have to do, actually, to accomplish the goal that I want is to... That's nice. Again, it reminds me of the OPXY or an OP1 patch. Let's just throw down some triggers for all these sounds. What's this sound even? It's gonna be so loud. Let's just turn this way down really quick. Okay. I'm going to sample this. Said it's the wrong thing. My bad. Why do I keep setting it to the wrong thing? Okay. I just wanted to get some weird drum sounds. And then I want to run this through the granulizer. Weird drums. What's up with that? Can't put it on 1 or 5? Okay. Whatever you say. Clear this pattern out. Go to track 8. Are you actually assigned? Nice. Okay, greener. Okay. I was wondering how it would sound on just like a drum riff. It does not sound very good. There's probably a way that you could make this like time stretch. I want us to play really slow. What? That sounds cool. I guess there is some cool spots. Whoa. Clear track. Does that clear all these patterns too? No. That's really cool. Throw an LFO on that. That will sound cool too. That sounds crazy. Kind of don't want to hear 4 on the floor, I guess. Wow. It's insane. That's ridiculous. Give me that. Lower intestinal vibes? What happened to the low end of that? This is supposed to, like, rumble. Does it have to be a note? Oh, it sounds crazy. track assist? Nice. Goodness gracious. Let's throw it to a sidechain, right? Shit, it's 3 o'clock. Two hours and 20 minutes. I'm not done yet. I'm just not done yet. I'm just not done yet. What bus? We'll do bus 2 will be our sidechain bus. And then we'll go here. What? How are we going to do that? I guess we'll use an envelope for bus 2. Yeah, that's it. We'll do 4 on the floor because I think that's going to sound good for this ducking idea. Excuse me? get out of here. Jesus. Oops. This better work. I don't know if I like that note. Is that gonna be better? Am I going the wrong way? Should I be going up? That is cool. Let's see how it sounds when we go here. Nice. That works. Let's just copy the page. Make it 4 bars, and we'll call it. We'll call it. Jesus. There's got to be a better way to do that. Mono mode. God damn. That was kind of cool though. Did I get to the right spot? Probably not. Completely blown that up. Let's just save our project. No idea where those notes went. Are they muted or something? Can you clear it, please? What's going on? Clear the pattern. Is it because it's still saving? Okay, there we go. Pre-roll, metronome on, and we'll go... Oh, god damn it. Okay. Right. Oh, I screwed that part up. This is where working on a tracker is so much easier for writing melodies. I could easily just squeeze these melodies. Anyway. Fun. Okay, so what we made today, probably my favorite part, but that other one got away with it, got away from us. Sounds cool, and then we made this, which is completely off the chain, I guess. But it all stemmed from this. See how it skips the sidechain if I go there? This is our granular patch right here. This sounds insane. These MIDI cables light up when they're plugged in. They're supposed to let you identify what you're doing. Like if your machines are plugged in and working. Two and a half hours of Tonverking. I'd say the box is good to go. Well, for the most part. We ran into a couple of bugs, but it's a lot of fun to play with, that's for sure. And I made that, I don't know if you were here for that, but if you were, I recorded some like just random drum triggers and then distorted them, and then I resampled them and I threw them in the granular engine, and I thought I wasn't gonna get anywhere with it. And then there was that little breakthrough. And we got this out of it. I can't make that on a dig attack. Honestly, I don't know how to make that ever again. It just is what it is from the Tonverk. Super cool. This is definitely a very inspiring box. I am pleased. And this track turned out awesome. Like, I love this. This is great. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, folks, fun stuff. I'm gonna go take a break, and then I'm gonna go teach some Elektron stuff. So this continues for me, but for you, you can get on with your life, do other things. If you're interested in supporting this channel, you can visit patreon.com/EZBOT and sign up for the Patreon. And that goes a long way for me here. And if you, another way you can do it is if you, when you buy stuff, Elektron stuff particularly, you can use my affiliate links and it pays me handsomely. But if you want to support this channel in a non-monetary, I just had my brain just completely fried monetarily. Yeah, if you want to support this channel without spending any money, you can just subscribe. That'd be nice for me. Leave some comments down below and let me know what you thought about what we did today. And how you feel. I posed this question at the beginning of the stream, and I said, you know, how do you guys feel about the Tonverk now post-update? And the update added the best quality of life feature we could possibly get, which was Trig Preview. Completely made the device usable to me, whereas before it felt a bit unusable to me. I was just a little frustrated, a little annoyed. But now it feels very usable. I love this granular engine. It's definitely my favorite part of the Tonverk now. The multi-sample thing completely got dwarfed by the granular engine to me. That's how I feel about it. I think it's just that cool. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. What'd you think about the music that I made today? Do you think it sucks? Don't tell me if it does. Only tell me if it's good, because that's all I want to hear. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/EZBOT, coffee.com/EZBOT if you want to get my templates. And we do this every Tuesday. Join the Discord. It's completely free. Lots of cool Elektron friends in there. M8 Tracker friends for you to talk to. Modular friends. Great community. A very humble and safe space to be yourself. That's our community. I'm very proud of our community. So feel free to join. There'll be a link to that in the comment section down below. My name is Matthew, aka EZBOT. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Thank you for the tip, Hexwave.